Hey guys, welcome to Y&R Daily Update YouTube channel. Today's topics: Y&R early week spoilers, August 11th to 15th. Lily ambushed. Audra's consequences, Cain's homecoming. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of August 11th suggests some twists. Fans can expect Cain, Ashby, Billy Flynn to ambush Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil. Meanwhile, Audra Charles, Zulia Silver, faces the consequences of her actions. Get updates on the latest news about the Young and the Restless straight to your inbox. We use your personal data for interest-based advertising as outlined in our privacy notice. What is this? There should also be some more moves regarding Claire Grace Newman's Haley Aaron plan to live by her own rules. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Cain Ashby's homecoming. Let's start off with Cain, who will be moving back into Genoa City. The man was warned to stay away, especially after Damian Cain, Jermaine Rivers, and Chance Chancellor's Connor Floyd deaths. However, Cain is on a mission and isn't going to let anything stop him from achieving those goals. Expect the American version of the train car to arrive soon. Trickery and decisions over with Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. She will have to stay on her toes. The redhead supports what Cain is trying to do, but isn't too pleased with having to work with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Meanwhile, things could get messy for Billy and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. What is this? Lily Winters ambushed. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of August 7th suggest that Cain could ambush Lily. Even though Lily has sworn multiple times to everyone that she doesn't want anything to do with Cain, it's clear she still does have feelings for him. That's why he infuriates her so much. However, the events in Nice won't be easily forgiven. So, Cain will have to do something pretty spectacular in order to gain redemption. Over with Sharon Newman. Sharon cases, she could continue thinking about that kiss with Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. Meanwhile, Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, could face more demons from that fateful night with the bar stranger, Michael Swan. At some point, Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, is going to find out about Audra's games in Nice. I wonder if Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, might give Audra a taste of her own medicine. While she is in love with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, she is also done being nice. At this point, she doesn't even know that Kyle and Audra shared kisses and got very close to passion. Y&R. Lily ambushed Audra's consequences. Cain's homecoming. Lily Winters had faced many storms in her life, but nothing prepared her for the ambush waiting for her in the executive suite at Chancellor Winters. As she stepped out of the elevator Monday morning, briefcase in hand, her phone buzzed non-stop, with texts, voicemails, and alerts from the PR team. At first, she assumed it was just another press hiccup, someone missed her, or a rumor gone viral. But the tension on Devin's face as he intercepted her at the door told a different story. "It's the merger," he muttered, handing her a tablet. "Someone leaked confidential documents about our acquisition terms. Now investors are threatening to pull out. We might be investigated." Lily's stomach dropped. Her hands shook slightly as she flipped through the data. Whoever had done this knew exactly what to target. Valuation projections, pending partnership clauses, and internal restructuring plans. This wasn't amateur work. It was precise, surgical, malicious. "Someone's trying to destroy us," she said under her breath. Devin looked grim, "and they're doing a good job of it." Before she could even sit down, Amanda Sinclair burst into the room, heels clicking like thunder, holding a folder. "Lily, you need to see this. The documents were sent from your company email. All signs point to an internal breach." Lily's eyes narrowed. "Mine." Amanda nodded. "We have to act fast. The board's calling an emergency meeting in 2 hours." As chaos erupted around her, one name floated to the forefront of her mind. Audra Charles. She had been circling Chancellor Winters like a vulture for weeks now, trying to poach talent and pry into operations. Could she have gotten to someone? Or worse, could Audra have used her connections at Newman Media to orchestrate the breach? Across town, Audra was facing her own reckoning. Victor Newman had summoned her to the ranch for an unplanned sit-down. That was never a good sign. She arrived trying to look calm, collected. But the sharp glare in Victor's eyes as she entered the study told her that the game had changed. "Audra," Victor said coldly, "I brought you into the Newman empire because I believed you were strategic, useful, even dangerous. But I don't tolerate loose cannons." "I don't know what you mean," she replied smoothly, though the tightness in her chest betrayed her worry. Victor leaned forward. Chancellor Winters is in crisis. And somehow, your name keeps coming up in whispers. She blinked, keeping her poker face intact. If you're suggesting I had something to do with their internal leak, I'm not suggesting. I'm warning you, Victor said, voice low like a snake about to strike. Whatever game you're playing, end it. If this blows back on Newman Media, you're finished. Audra left the ranch with her jaw clenched, barely holding it together. She knew she had walked too close to the fire, but she hadn't expected Victor to catch the scent this soon. Still, she had a card left to play. A secret meeting with a ghost from Genoa City's past. Someone who could change everything. That ghost, Cain Ashby. Cain's return to Genoa City was unannounced, unexpected, and entirely strategic. After years, overseas rebuilding his life, post-divorce and scandal, he had watched from a distance as his children grew and the business world moved on without him, but now he was back and he had something to prove. He arrived under the radar, landing late Sunday night. By Monday afternoon, he had set up a meeting with Jill Abbott in her private chancellor office. Why now? Jill asked bluntly. Not one for small talk. Why come back? Cain met her eyes. Because Chancellor Winters is bleeding, and you need someone who knows how to fight dirty. Devon's great at running things. And Lily, well, Lily's always been the heart, but they're not killers. I am. Jill studied him for a long moment. If you want back in, you'll have to earn it, he smirked. Watch me. Word of Cain's return spread fast. And not everyone was happy. Devon was furious when he heard the news. Cain's a liability. Devon argued during a tense board meeting. He's caused nothing but drama. He's not who we need. But Lily, still reeling from the ambush and the investigation, wasn't so quick to dismiss him. He knows how to survive, she murmured, and right now, we're under attack. Meanwhile, at Society, Audra sat in a private corner booth, sunglasses on, watching the entrance. When Cain walked in, tall and confident, her lips curled into a smile. You clean up well, she said as he sat down. I wasn't aware I needed to impress you, he replied. Oh, you don't, but I do need your help. Audra slid a flash drive across the table. That's a copy of what I didn't leak. There's more. And I know who's behind the breach at Chancellor Winters. But it's not me, it's someone inside. I want protection and a position. If I go down, I'll take the truth with me. Cain pocketed the drive. You always were 10 steps ahead. She leaned in, and you always played both sides. That's why I knew you'd listen. Elsewhere, Lily received an anonymous package. Inside, photos of Billy Abbott meeting with an unknown figure in a dark alley. Attached was a note that read, Trust is an illusion. Lily's hands shook again. Was Billy involved in the sabotage? He distanced himself from Chancellor Winters after their breakup, but he still had enemies and he had secrets. She couldn't ignore the signs anymore. Someone was targeting her and they were using her past to unravel her present. By Tuesday evening, Lily, Devon, and Amanda met privately in Lily's condo. The company was stabilizing barely, but trust was broken. Amanda revealed the results of the internal review. The leak came from someone using your credentials, she said. But the IP address matches Billy's old laptop. Devon groaned. Tell me this isn't happening. Lily's voice was cold. Billy always said he wanted to protect me, but sometimes obsession looks a lot like sabotage. Across the city, Billy sat in a hotel bar, nursing a scotch, watching news of the scandal scroll across the screen. His phone buzzed, an unknown number. You should have stayed out of it, a voice said before hanging up. Billy's heart pounded. This went deeper than even he realized. By midweek, Cain had leveraged Audra's flash drive into a full-blown exposé. He brought the evidence to Lily directly. Photos, emails, digital trails, all pointing to a rogue financial advisor at Chancellor Winters with ties to a private investor network known for corporate takeovers. The same network that had tried to recruit Audra 6 months ago. He wasn't working alone, Cain warned. He had inside help. Maybe Billy, maybe someone else. Subscribe our channel for more latest updates. Lily's world tilted again. That evening, she confronted Billy in the park where they once dreamed about a future together. His face crumbled when she showed him the evidence. I didn't leak anything, he insisted. But I did meet with someone, a former board member. He said Chancellor Winters was vulnerable and asked if I'd be open to guiding it back to legacy leadership. I turned him down. I swear. Tears welled in Lily's eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't think it mattered. I thought I could protect you by staying away. But now I see I should have stayed. Back at Newman Enterprises, Audra was blindsided when Nate Hastings appeared in her office. His expression was unreadable. "I know what you did," he said. "And I know who helped you." She froze. "You don't know anything." "Oh, I do," Nate said, tossing a folder on her desk. "Victor wanted someone watching you." "Surprise, I volunteered." Audra's mouth went dry. Nate walked away, but his voice lingered. "Tick-tock, Audra, your clock's almost out." On Thursday, Victor called Lily personally. He offered an olive branch. "Chancellor Winters is a pillar of this community," he said. "If you need help finding who's responsible, I'll lend you my people." Lily was stunned. "Why would you do that?" "Because I admire strength, and I see it in you." That night, Lily met Cain on the Chancellor Estate terrace. She was weary, but there was something in her eyes that hadn't been there in years. "Clarity, you came back at the right time," she whispered. He looked at her softer now. "I never really left." By Friday, arrests had been made. The rogue advisor was taken into custody and internal security measures were doubled. Devin reinstated a stronger board oversight process, and Amanda was named ACTING, Chief Legal Officer. But the damage was done. Audra summoned one last time to the ranch, found herself cornered by Nikki and Victoria. "You're finished," Nikki said coldly. "Pack your things," Audra smirked, defiant. "I'll land on my feet. I always do." And as she walked out, heels echoing down the hallway, she paused once, just once, to glance at her reflection in the polished glass. She had lost this round. But the game wasn't over. Back at Chancellor Winters, Lily watched Cain interact with their team, confident and surprisingly composed. For the first time in a long time, she saw possibility. She approached him slowly. "We could use someone like you. If you're serious," he grinned. "Let's build something better." In Genoa City, betrayal and redemption dance close. And as the sun set on a week of ambushes, consequences and comebacks, one thing was clear: this war was just beginning. Continuation of Y&R, Lily ambushed Audra's consequences. Cain's homecoming. The following Monday brought a shift in the Genoa City air. Though some dust had settled, deep cracks remained. Cracks that could either be mended or widened with the wrong move. Lily sat in the boardroom reviewing new protocols with Amanda, while Devin fielded calls from nervous investors. Chancellor Winters had survived, but it was bruised. And bruises, Lily knew too well, always opt before they healed. Cain stood silently outside the glass boardroom, watching her lead. She was calm under pressure, more commanding than when they had been married. There was fire in her now, hardened and polished. He respected it, but it also made his return more complicated. As the meeting adjourned, Lily motioned for Cain to stay behind. Amanda and Devin exchanged wary glances before leaving them alone. "I've been thinking about the offer," she said carefully, not meeting his eyes. "You want a place here. I'm willing to give you one on trial." Cain raised a brow. "On trial? I need loyalty, not charm, not history, and definitely not chaos." He nodded slowly. "I can give you all three, but I know which one matters most." She allowed a faint smile. "Good. You'll work directly with me and Amanda discreetly. There's still someone out there who hasn't been caught. Whoever orchestrated this used more than one player." "I figured," he said, pulling a folded photo from his coat pocket and sliding it to her. "Recognize him?" Lily's face drained of color. It was a surveillance shot, grainy, but unmistakable. The man talking to the arrested rogue advisor was none other than Colin Atkinson, Cain's father. "Your father?" she asked in disbelief. Cain's jaw tightened. "He's back, and this time, I think he's trying to burn everything down through me." Lily exhaled sharply. "We need to find him fast." Elsewhere, Audra was not licking her wounds. She was planning. After her fall from grace at Newman, she reached out to an unlikely ally, Tucker McCall. "Tucker," she said into her burner phone. "You always said we'd be dangerous together. You still feel that way?" There was a pause, then a laugh. "I never stopped feeling that way." "Then let's give Genoa City something to really talk about." By Tuesday, they had arranged a secret meeting in the private dining room at the athletic club. Tucker was cautious but intrigued. Audra laid it all out. Every asset Newman was about to liquidate. Chancellor Winters' internal fractures and Victor's weak spot. Family loyalty. "You want revenge," Tucker said plainly. "I want power," Audra corrected. "Revenge is just the appetizer." Tucker smirked. "You've grown." "I've adapted." And with a handshake, a new alliance was born. Billy, meanwhile, had gone quiet. Too quiet. Jack tried to pull him back into Jabau's orbit, but Billy refused. He was investigating something of his own. The identity of the former board member who lured him into that alley in the first place. Late Wednesday night, he confronted Chelsea at Crimson Lights. "I think I've been used," he confessed, setting down the mysterious note that read, "Trust is an illusion." Chelsea looked at it and frowned. "You think this has something to do with Chancellor Winters?" "I think it has something to do with Cain and his father." Chelsea called Colin. "Yeah, and I need help figuring out what the hell he's doing back in Genoa City." Back at Chancellor Winters, Cain and Amanda were reviewing security logs when something strange surfaced. Unauthorized access to a now-defunct server room. The timestamp coincided with the original leak. They rushed to the basement where Amanda pried open an access panel and found a planted device still pulsing with data. "This wasn't a one-time leak," Amanda said grimly. "They've been watching for weeks." Cain turned to the camera. "If Collins is behind this, he's got someone on the inside. We need to flush them out." Later that day, Lily met with Jill at Society. Jill had been oddly quiet throughout the crisis, but now she spoke with purpose. "I know Colin's back," she said. "He called me." Lily blinked. "He what?" "He said I owed him, that I'd left the back door open years ago. I think he's been planning this since the moment he lost access to Chancellor funds." Lily's voice dropped. "You think he's trying to reclaim Chancellor through sabotage?" Jill's eyes narrowed, and through Cain. Thursday morning brought a shocking twist. The media leaked news that Chancellor Winters would be facing a federal investigation. After all, the company's internal cleanup wasn't enough. Someone was feeding regulators and the press new evidence in real time. Lily confronted Cain, hurt and frustrated. "Are you sure you're not part of this? Even by accident?" Cain's face was pained. "I swear on our kids, I'm trying to fix this. But if my father's using my name again, I'll handle it." That night, Cain received a text from an untraceable number. "Meet me at the old rail station." Alone, against his better judgment, he went. What he didn't expect was to find Colin waiting in the shadows with a smug smile. "Son," Colin drawled. "You always had such promise. But you never learned to play the long game." Cain lunged. "What the hell are you doing? You're destroying everything." "I'm reclaiming what's mine. Chancellor was our legacy. You let it slip through your fingers. So now I'm taking it back." "What's the end game, Dad? You think you'll just run the company from the shadows?" "I already am," Colin said. "And soon, no one will be able to stop me." He disappeared into the night, leaving Cain stunned. But Cain had recorded the whole thing. Friday arrived with storms, both literal and metaphorical. Devin gathered the team in the conference room. "Cain has evidence that could end this, but we need to go public. Full transparency." Amanda agreed. "If we don't own the story, someone else will weaponize it." With Lily's blessing, Cain released the audio of Colin's confession to the authorities and the press. Within hours, federal agents launched a manhunt for Colin, freezing his assets and officially clearing Chancellor Winters of wrongdoing, pending further review. Victor, watching from the Newman offices, smiled faintly. "Cain's got backbone," he told Nikki. "Maybe we underestimated him." Lily found Cain on the terrace again that evening. The sky was still gray, but the storm had passed. "You did the right thing," she said softly. "I nearly didn't, but you did," she replied, pausing before adding, "Maybe you really are different now." Cain turned to her. "I came back for a second chance. Not just at business, but everything." Lily didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached for his hand. "Let's take this one day at a time." And in the world of Genoa City, that was more than most people ever got. As darkness fell, Audra watched the news from her hotel suite, sipping champagne. The Chancellor fire had been contained, but the war had just begun. Subscribe our channel for more latest update. "Your move, Lily," she whispered. "Because in Genoa City, no victory lasts forever, and no enemy stays down for long." Continuation of Y&R, Lily ambushed, Audra's consequences, Cain's homecoming, final installment. The following week began not with calm, but with deeper ripples of the war that still simmered beneath the surface. While Lily and Cain's fragile new alliance began to take root, the world around them shifted quietly but dangerously. Audra Charles wasn't gone, and she wasn't idle. From her upscale hotel penthouse, she sat in front of a sprawling whiteboard, filled with names, companies, and connections, all connected with red thread to one central idea: reputation warfare. She knew Chancellor Winters had survived its initial collapse. But she also knew survival wasn't the same as recovery. She had one last chess piece, and his name was Alan Bennett, a former finance officer buried in Chancellor's pre-merger records. Alan had once been fired after Jill discovered he'd been manipulating profit reports to inflate quarterly wins. But instead of disappearing, Alan had reinvented himself in digital consulting, selling sensitive information to the highest bidder. Audra found him in Manhattan. She didn't need to persuade him with charm, just leverage. He owed her. She'd buried a scandal of his 2 years prior. Now she wanted payment. "You still have the Chancellor backup logs, don't you?" she asked. Alan hesitated. "Those were wiped years ago." Audra leaned in. "Not the question I asked." After a long pause, Alan nodded. "Yes, but they're incomplete." "They don't need to be complete," Audra said. "Just damaging." Back in Genoa City, Cain settled into his new role quietly but effectively. He was auditing department systems, shoring up weak protocols and building trust again. Slowly with Devin and even Billy. Amanda remained cautious but admitted privately to Lily that Cain was proving himself. "People can change," Amanda said during a late-night strategy meeting. Lily looked out the window. "Or they just circle back to the parts of themselves they buried." It wasn't just business that weighed on her, it was emotion. Every time she looked at Cain, she remembered both the pain and the promise. They had built something beautiful once. Could they do it again? Midweek, Jill summoned Devin and Lily to the Chancellor mansion. "I received an email this morning," she said grimly. "Someone is threatening to release documents alleging we misused investor funds during the merger. If we don't pay them a consulting fee, they'll leak them to the press." Devin clenched his jaw. Another blackmail attempt. Lily was calmer. "Did they give a name?" Jill nodded. "Alan Bennett." Lily's eyes flashed. Audra. Jill handed over the message. Amanda joined them shortly, reading it and nodding in agreement. "We can't negotiate with extortionists, but we can trap them." The trap was elegant in its simplicity. Cain posed as a shadow buyer interested in acquiring Alan's data and met him at a private club in Chicago. With the FBI monitoring the exchange, Alan presented the files, some genuine, some manipulated. He even bragged about his source, Audra, Charles. That was the nail in the coffin. Audra was arrested the next morning at the Genoa City airport as she prepared to board a flight to Dubai.com, as ever, she smirked in her mug shot. She knew it wouldn't last. Someone always bailed her out. Power attracted protection. Still, the damage to her credibility was deep. Newman, Chancellor Winters, even Tucker now avoided association. Victor, ever calculating, mused to Nikki, she was a powerful ally, but ambition without loyalty, always a liability. In the days that followed, Chancellor Winters regained more than just its footing. Investor confidence returned. The press praised Lily's steady hand, and Cain, though he kept his usual charm, never overstepped. That Friday, Lily hosted a quiet dinner at her house. Just her, Devin, Amanda, Billy, and Cain. It wasn't a celebration. It was a peace offering. After dinner, while the others laughed over dessert, Cain stepped outside. Lily followed, glass of wine in hand. "You didn't have to stay," she said softly. "I wanted to," Cain replied. "It's been a long time since I felt like part of something real." They stood in silence before Lily asked the question that had been lingering for weeks. "Why now, Cain? Why really come back?" He didn't hesitate. "Because I still love you. I never stopped. And I wanted to fix what I broke, both with you and with this company." Lily's voice trembled, but she didn't step away. "We can't just forget everything." "I don't want to," Cain replied. "I want to build on it. All of it." She nodded, eyes locked on his. Then quietly, one step at a time. And in that moment, the past didn't disappear, but it stopped holding them hostage. Meanwhile, across town, Audra was released on bail under strict house arrest at a private property owned by an anonymous investor. She watched the news. Chancellor Winters thriving again. Victor moving on. Cain rising. Her jaw clenched. "They think it's over," she whispered to herself. "But I'm just getting started." In the shadows of Genoa City, the most dangerous players weren't always in boardrooms. Some waited in silence, watching, waiting for their chance to strike. And Audrey Charles wasn't done. Neither was Colin Atkinson. Because while Chancellor Winters had weathered the storm, dark clouds still loomed. And in this town, victory is always temporary. The week of August 11th to 15th on The Young and the Restless is marked by high-stakes drama involving corporate sabotage, personal betrayals, and shifting alliances. Lily Winters faces an unexpected ambush as confidential information about Chancellor Winters' merger is leaked, threatening the company's future and investor confidence. Suspicion falls heavily on Audra Charles, who has been scheming to undermine Chancellor Winters and Newman Media. Cain Ashby makes a dramatic and strategic return to Genoa City, aiming to reclaim control and protect the company, while also confronting complicated personal history. Amidst this turmoil, Billy Abbott becomes entangled in the scandal. Struggling with his past decisions and loyalty, Audra faces the consequences of her actions as Victor Newman confronts her and warns her about the risks. Cain and Lily tentatively form an alliance to stabilize the company and unmask the true culprit behind the sabotage, a rogue financial advisor with ties to a shadowy private investor network. The plot thickens as it is revealed that Cain's father, Colin Atkinson, is orchestrating much of the chaos from behind the scenes, aiming to reclaim the family legacy by any means necessary. Despite attempts to restore order, a federal investigation looms, fueled by leaks to the press and regulators. Cain and Lily work together to expose Colin's plans, culminating in a public confession and a manhunt. Meanwhile, Audra, refusing to concede defeat, forms a new alliance with Tucker McCall to continue her vendetta for power. Setting the stage for further conflict in the aftermath, Chancellor Winters regains investor confidence and begins to recover, led by Lily's steady hand and Cain's ruthless strategies. Yet, even as peace seems to return, dark forces remain at play. Audra remains a looming threat under house arrest, and Colin's shadow continues to threaten the company. The week closes with a sense that the battle for control and redemption is far from over, with personal and professional stakes higher than ever. Highlights: Cain Ashby returns to Genoa City with a mission to save Chancellor Winters. Lily Winters faces a major breach and ambush threatening her company's future. Audra Charles is exposed as a key player in the sabotage but remains defiant. Complex relationships unfold as Cain and Lily navigate past pain and present challenges. A federal investigation looms, intensifying the corporate war. New alliances form, including Audra's partnership with Tucker McCall for revenge and power. The true mastermind behind the sabotage is revealed to be Cain's father, Colin Atkinson. Key insights. Cain's return symbolizes a turning point. Cain. Ashby's homecoming is not just a personal comeback but a strategic move to reclaim control over a faltering legacy. His readiness to fight dirty contrasts with Lily and Devon's more principled approaches, highlighting the tension between idealism and pragmatism in corporate survival. Cain embodies the complex anti-hero who balances ruthlessness with a desire for redemption. Internal sabotage underscores vulnerabilities. The leak of confidential merger documents reveals that the biggest threats to corporations often come from within. The use of Billy's credentials and the involvement of a rogue financial advisor show how asili trust can be breached, emphasizing the need for stringent internal security and vigilance in leadership. Ode role illustrates the price of ambition. Audra Charles's fall and rise illustrate the precarious nature of power in Genoa City. Her willingness to manipulate, betray, and form dangerous alliances with figures like Tucker McCall reveals how ambition without loyalty can be both empowering and self-destructive. Her defiance despite legal troubles suggests that in this world, defeat is temporary. Complex emotional dynamics drive plot. The interactions between Lily and Cain are laden with unresolved emotions. Their history adds layers to the corporate drama, showing how personal relationships can complicate business decisions. Lily's cautious acceptance of Cain's help reflects the delicate balance between trust and skepticism in rebuilding fractured alliances. Media and regulatory pressure amplify corporate crises. The leak to regulators and the media's involvement escalate the stakes beyond internal boardroom conflicts. It highlights how public perception and government oversight can be leveraged as weapons in corporate warfare, forcing companies to engage in transparent damage control to maintain investor confidence. Shifting alliances shape power structures. The formation of alliances: Cain with Lily and Amanda, Audra with Tucker, illustrates the fluidity of loyalty and power in Genoa City. These partnerships are tactical and fraught with underlying mistrust, suggesting that alliances are often temporary and contingent upon mutual benefit rather than genuine trust. Family legacies and betrayal add depth. Colin At's role as the hidden antagonist brings a generational aspect to the conflict. His desire to reclaim his family's legacy through sabotage introduces themes of inheritance, betrayal, and the destructive impact of unresolved familial conflicts on both personal and professional realms. Cain's struggle against his father reflects the broader battle between past mistakes and future hopes. Detailed analysis. The week's storyline expertly weaves together corporate intrigue with deeply personal drama to create a multifaceted narrative. Cain's return is a catalyst, injecting much-needed aggression and streetwise savvy into a company that has been vulnerable to external and internal threats. His approach contrasts sharply with Devon's and Lily's leadership styles, underscoring a common soap opera theme: the clash between heart and strategy. Cain's willingness to engage in morally ambiguous tactics makes him a wildcard, but also a potentially invaluable asset in a ruthless business environment. The sabotage storyline is a classic example of how vulnerabilities in corporate governance can be exploited. The leak of sensitive merger documents is not just a plot device, but a reflection of real-world issues companies face with insider threats and cybersecurity. The detail that the leak originated from Billy's device, albeit without his direct involvement, adds emotional complexity and raises questions about trust, loyalty, and the unintended consequences of past relationships. Audra Charles emerges as a quintessential soap opera antagonist, cunning and unrepentant. Her fall from grace and subsequent alliance with Tucker McCall illustrate how power dynamics shift rapidly in Genoa City's elite circles. Audra's use of reputation warfare and blackmail tactics demonstrates the multifaceted nature of modern corporate battles, where information and perception are as important as financial assets. The persistent tension between Lily and Cain adds emotional depth and keeps the storyline grounded in human conflict, reminding viewers that business battles are often intertwined with personal histories and unresolved feelings. Their evolving relationship from estranged spouses to tentative allies provides a compelling through-line that humanizes the corporate drama. The looming federal investigation and media leaks raise the stakes significantly, highlighting the real-world impact of corporate scandals beyond boardrooms. This element introduces urgency and external pressure that forces characters to make tough decisions about transparency and damage control, reflecting contemporary challenges faced by real corporations. Finally, the revelation of Cain's involvement adds a layer of legacy and generational conflict. His shadowy manipulation from behind the scenes introduces a personal vendetta that transcends business and delves into family dynamics. This enriches the narrative by connecting past mistakes and betrayals with current crises, creating a complex tapestry of motivations and consequences. Conclusion: the week's episodes of The Young and the Restless deliver a gripping mix of corporate intrigue, personal drama, and strategic maneuvering. With Cain Ashby's return, Lily Winter's resilience tested, and Audra Charles' relentless scheming, the storyline captures the high stakes of power and redemption in Genoa City. The layered narrative explores themes of trust, betrayal, legacy, and the fine line between ambition and loyalty, setting the stage for ongoing conflict and evolving alliances. As the dust settles, it becomes clear that in this city, no victory is permanent, and the battle for control is only just beginning.